Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 13, National Football League, a.k.a. Showdown Sunday, a.k.a. Line in the Sand Sunday. This is a huge week for every team around the National Football League. I've dubbed this Showdown Sunday in the National Football League Week 13. No more bye weeks. Every single team, all 32, on display in Week 13. I think each game had some kind of significant meaning to it, other than the fact that a team is just trying to get a win. Whether you're trying to prove something to yourself, prove something to the other team, or prove something to everyone around the league, I feel like every single game had a meaning within the meaning of the game. This one being no different. Jacksonville Jaguars on the road versus the Cleveland Browns. I look at this game and it's really simple for me. If I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, I take my pointy finger, and I point it square at the Cleveland Browns and say, hey, I'm not the worst team in the league. You are. And I'm going to prove it by coming into your house, disrespecting you, and getting a W. If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you are trying to build for the future. And I already have said this on a number of occasions. I like what Gus Bradley is doing in Jacksonville. I like what David Caldwell has tried to do in bringing in guys with a little bit of speed. They're building some things in Jacksonville, and they got a long way to go. But it's brick by brick, piece by piece. And with every win, guys start to gain more and more confidence on this football team, on this roster, within the organization. So I like what the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing. Winners of 2 of their last 3, both on the road. They'd love to get a home win, but hey, you'll take them any way you can get them. So if you're the Jaguars, you're here to take that pointer finger and push it square at the Cleveland Browns and say, hey, I'm better than you. You're the worst team in the National Football League. If you're the Cleveland Browns, you say, no way, not in my house. I won't let you come into my house and get a W. I'm not the worst team in the league. You are. And so if you're the Cleveland Browns, you say, we're building something here. We've got some very young, talented guys on this roster. All we need is the quarterback. And we'll prove it to you by getting it done. We'll win despite Brandon Weeden, not lose this game because of him. We'll take care of business because we are the better team. Our defense will force turnovers. We'll win this game. We'll show you, Jacksonville, that we're better than you think we are. And so that's, to me, the crux of this game. That's why this is a showdown Sunday game. Let's get to the board and break it down. 2-9 Jacksonville Jaguars at the 4-7 Cleveland Browns. So Browns have a shred of hope in making it to the postseason again with Brandon Weeden as your quarterback. You can go ahead, kiss your playoff hopes goodbye. However, look, until the fat lady has sung, you're not out of it if you're the Cleveland Browns. But I tell you what, she's just about at the end. And with Brandon Weeden as your quarterback, you can go ahead and have her wrap that song up because you guys are done. But again, you want to win as many games as you can and really continue to become a competitive football team because you're building something here in Cleveland. Again, you're just missing that one integral piece. Of course, that being the quarterback. So, great punt return from Jordan Poyer on great punt return from Jordan Poyer sets up a 43-yard catch by Flash Gordon. That being Josh Gordon, which is a 1-yard touchdown run for Willis McGahee. So a great punt return by Jordan Poyer sets up a 43-yard catch for Flash Gordon, which leads to a 1-yard TD run from Old Man Willis. What you talking about, Willis McGahee? Cleveland gets on the board first. It's 7-0 Browns. If you're the Cleveland Browns, that's the way you want to start this contest. Jump up early on these Jacksonville Jaguars. Great response, though, by the Jags with a 20-yard touchdown pass to Clay Harbor. We're knotted up at 7. Chad Henne has been a stabilizing force for this offense. He's not the answer to this team long term, but I tell you what, he is one heck of a backup quarterback, if I may say so myself. if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you didn't find yourself a starter in Chad Henne, but you got yourself one heck of a backup quarterback. I tell you what, you find your quarterback in the future, you feel good and put yourself at ease knowing you've got Chad Henne as your number 2 quarterback. If anything should happen to your starter, Chad Henne can right that ship for a week or 2 or 3 or a 4-game stretch if need be. Chad Henne is a rock solid number 2 starting quarterback in this league. You look at Flash Gordon strikes again. This time from 21 yards out. This man, look, you know what's crazy? The San Francisco 49ers could have had this man if they wanted him. If they would have just came off a couple of picks, maybe tossed in an extra player or 2, they could have had themselves a legit, no doubt, number 1. But their loss is your gain. And look, I know your front office said, hey, he's not for sale. We're not trading Flash Gordon. But I tell you what, hey, everybody's got a price. A wise man once told me, everybody's got a price. And if the 49ers would have been talking with some sense, he'd be donning a 49ers jersey right now. But look, you've got yourself a premier, top choice, grade A receiver in this league. Flash Gordon strikes again. It's 14-7 after the 21-yard touchdown grab from Flash Gordon. It's 14-7. Cleveland back on top. Joe Hayden jumps in front of a Chad Henne offering, picks it off, but the Browns end up punting the football. I love Joe Hayden. I love his aggressiveness. Sometimes that over-aggressiveness can come back to bite you. However, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Joe Hayden, one of the better corners in the National Football League, jumps in front of a Henne offering, ends a Jacksonville Jaguars drive. Browns aren't able to use that great field position, however, to get points. They have to punt the football. Rookie Jonathan Cyprien picks off Brandon Weeden. What's new? Whoa! What's new? It's Brandon Weeden. It's an interception. Those things go hand in hand. And so, Jonathan Cyprien, and I like this young guy. Jonathan Cyprien is a very impressive rookie. Picks off Brandon Weeden. Leads to an MJD to Mercedes Lewis touchdown. Look, when you're a bad team, when you're 2-9, you pull out all the stops. Nothing is out of bounds. And so you're at the 6-yard line and you pull out a halfback option pass that works to perfection as MJD gets it to Mercedes Lewis for a touchdown. We're knotted back up at 14, so these Jags are pesky. They won't go away. The Browns can't shake them. With every touchdown, with every passing second, every passing quarter that the Jaguars are in this game, they're gaining more and more confidence. Hey, why not us? Why can't we walk into Cleveland and walk out with a W? This is the danger that you face when you're playing a team that you're supposed to beat, but you give them confidence and you let them hang around. Hey, if you're a Browns fan, you have Brandon Weeden to thank for that. Whoa! Weeden stripped right before the half, recovered by Sindaric Marks, leads to another field goal by Jacksonville. I skipped a play. Hey, whoa! More Brandon Weeden. Whoa! Next offensive play for Cleveland. After the interception, after the touchdown, the first offensive snap after the last offensive snap was a pick for Cleveland and Brandon Weeden. Whoa! Another interception thrown by Weeden, this time to rookie Dwayne Gratz. So he's making sure all the rookies in the secondary for the Jacksonville Jaguars gets their hands on the football. Hey, everybody in the secondary for the Jaguars that's a rookie got one? You got a pick? You got a pick? Cool. So Dwayne Gratz gets his hands on one. That leads to a Josh Scobie field goal. Now the Jags take their first lead of the game at 17-14. So Brandon Weeden making sure he's doing his holiday cheer and spirit by making sure that everyone gets their hands on the football. His team and the other team included. It's the holiday season, time for giving. No one loves to give more than Brandon Weeden. So Weeden stripped right before the half, recovered by Sindaric Marks, leads to another Jacksonville Jaguars field goal. So we're talking about 3 Brandon Weeden turnovers right before the half. I mean, That changed the complexion of this game. Again, you're up 14-7 if you're Cleveland. Defense is balling. You just got a pick not too long ago from Joe Hayden. Offensively, they cannot stop Flash Gordon. And so you got everything going in your favor. And then Brandon Weeden, decides it's time for me to start sharing the football. Sharing is caring, and I'm all about caring during the holiday season. He starts spreading the football around to Jacksonville Jaguar defenders. 2 for the secondary, 1 for a big defensive lineman. Your end result, 10 points unanswered right before the half. Changes the whole complexion of this game. You go from 13 points unanswered right before the half. You go from leading 14-7 in this game if you're Cleveland to down 20-14 at the half. And again, really defensively, you've done nothing wrong in this game to deserve this deficit at the half. Aided by a few Jags penalties, opening second half drive results in a Greg Little TD grab. Cleveland reassumes the lead at 21-20 in this game. Good drive. And again, some Jag penalties helped out. You'll take anything you can get, and they get in the end zone, take the lead through the Cleveland Browns. Solid Browns drive ends with a Weeden sack and a missed 53-yard Billy Cundiff field goal. And look, the last thing you need when you're driving the football is a sack. The last thing you don't want your quarterback taking is a sack. You say, look, you can throw it away. You get out of the pocket. If no one's open, find the sidelines, get rid of the football. Don't take a sack. Don't push this field goal back any further than it already is. And that's what happened. Weeden takes a sack. You trot Billy Cundiff out on the field for a 53-yarder. He cannot connect. It costs you points. And at the end of the game, when you look at the margin of victory for the opposing team, you say to yourself, hey, that could have really helped us in the long run in this football game. So Jacksonville gets a safety on a bad snap. It's now 22-21. So, again, more miscommunication from the Browns and Weeden not getting it done. I thought this was a snap that was a little high. Maybe he could have handled it. Maybe he couldn't have. Again, maybe he had time to scoop it up and try to throw it away. Maybe he couldn't have. You just, with Brandon Weeden, everything's a panic. We've seen about 18 underhand throws this season. About 3 of them have been picked off. So everything's a struggle and a panic with Brandon Weeden. So more points given away. And again, defensively, if you're the Browns, and when I looked at the score of this game from afar, before I even got to watch the actual game tape, I said, I'm so disappointed in this Browns defense because this Browns defense has been good and solid all season long. For them to allow Jacksonville to come into their house and put up, 32 points, whatever it was in this game, I was disappointed. But when I actually watched how they accumulated a lot of their points, I said, I apologize, D. It's not on you. This is a Brandon Weeden Browns offense thing. Sorry. These guys gave away points like it was a garage sale, and you really didn't have much to do with it. You did have your fair share of mistakes in this game that ultimately helped cost you guys this game, but a lot of the blame for this loss falls squarely on the shoulders of Brandon Weeden and this Cleveland Browns offense that turned it over, gave up points, and really put this team in a predicament come the end of the football game. So a safety, giving away more points. And let's just calculate right here. How many points have been given up via the turnover or some kind of offensive mishap? So you look at this pick here, that leads to a touchdown. That's 7. You look at another pick thrown by Weeden, that's 10 after a field goal. You get stripped right before the half and Weeden turns it over again. That's 13. You give up a safety here. And so that's 15 of the 22 Jacksonville Jaguars points given up off of turnovers by this Cleveland Browns offense. So defensively, you got to feel bad for this Browns defense because they've done nothing wrong yet. They trail in this game 22-21. And when you look at the stats at the end of the season, they don't get to, divide these points up into turnovers and all that. This is points that are all going to be charged to this Browns defense. And again, they've done nothing wrong to this point. So after that safety, great return on the free kick, plus a face mask penalty leads to another field goal. It's 25-21. Jags up on top by 4 in this football game. Guess who strikes again? You'll never guess. Flash Gordon, 95-yard touchdown catch. This man is on fire in fuego. It's 28-25. This is his second consecutive 200-yard receiving game. Second in a row, NFL history. No other receiver, and we're talking Jerry Rice, we're talking Evans, the Megatron, we're talking L. Boogie, Larry Fitzgerald, we're talking Randy Moss. None of those guys in NFL wide receiving lore, in history, have ever had back-to-back 200-yard receiving games. Looks like Flash Gordon has carved out a niche in this league. It's one of the premier receivers, and this guy is a handful, and the Jacksonville Jaguars found that out firsthand as he puts together another 200-yard effort in this game with a 95-yard touchdown catch and run. Jags are now down 28-25 after the touchdown by Flash Gordon and the Browns. So now it seems like Cleveland's got them right where they want them. All the defense has to do is get one stop, and this game is over. But in typical bad football team fashion, the Browns allow the Jacksonville Jaguars to march the football right down the field. And they've got them in a position to where either they're going to tie this game or they're going to win this game. And if you're Cleveland, you got to make sure that the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing for a tie and not for the win. And I thought that Solomon Wilcox, who did this game, did a great job of talking about how Joe Hayden can't afford to bite on the double move late in the ball game. You got to give up the short stuff. Keep everything in front of you. Make the tackle. Keep him out of the end zone. Make the Jaguars kick the field goal instead. And I talked about that aggressiveness earlier when I said, hey, he got the pick. He's one of the most aggressive corners in the league, but that aggressiveness can come back to bite you sometimes. He jumps the double move. Cecil Shorts the third, or as I like to call him, CS3, runs the sluggo, the slant and go. And Joe Hayden bites all over the slant. And he fades it back out to the corner, does CS3. Beautiful ball by Henny right in the corner. Yes, you can blame it on the Henny. Touchdown, Jacksonville Jaguars. They take a 32-28 lead with less than a minute to go in this football game. We're talking about 42 or 35 seconds left after this touchdown is scored. Browns have all three of their timeouts, but they got to march a long way. And a field goal won't do. That Billy Cundiff miss earlier in the game comes back to haunt you now if he knocks that field goal in. We're talking 32-31. A field goal still wins you the game with three timeouts. That's doable. But knowing you need a touchdown, your mind frame and your whole frame of mind changes. Now, you know you need a touchdown, and the Browns weren't able to get it. They get to midfield. They try a Hail Mary. It's unsuccessful. The Jacksonville Jaguars march into Cleveland and find a way to get a 32-28 victory. Gutsy win by the Jaguars. I'm telling you, I like the direction that this team is going in with Gus Bradley. I'm telling you right now, they're starting to play with confidence. And that's 3 road wins, okay? Again, when you're not a good football team, normally you find a way to win. It's going to be at home. But the Jaguars are winning on the road. I want to see them get one at home in front of their crowd. But, hey, get them when you can. And they're getting them on the road. And they beat a solid Browns football team. And, again, they self-destructed. A lot of the blame can be pointed right in the direction of number 3, Brandon Weeden, for turning the football over and really giving the Jacksonville Jaguars every opportunity to steal this game. Once again, we counted earlier. 15 Jacksonville Jaguar points off of turnovers in this game or mishaps by the Browns offense. Can't happen. And again, you want to lose in this league? The easiest way to do so, turn the football over. Turn it over. See what happens. And the Jacksonville Jaguars took advantage of those turnovers, turned it into points. They win this football game 32-28. Tough loss for the Cleveland Browns. This is one you feel like you got to get at home. You got to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. You weren't able to do so. That's very disappointing. But again, I'll cut you a little bit of slack because your quarterback is Brandon Weeden. Whoa! And so, big win for Jacksonville. You're now 3-9 on the season. You find a way to get another win. That's 3 out of your last 4. If you're Jacksonville, and more importantly, 3 out of your last 4 wins, 3 of them, all of them coming on the road. Hey, how about that? So, Jacksonville Jaguars playing some impressive football down the stretch. And I tell you what, Gus Bradley has these guys believing. Again, you get the quarterback, guys like Ace Sanders is really stepping up. You got Mike Brown, another guy that I feel like is starting to come along. Clay Harbor seems to be a nice little piece alongside of Mercedes Lewis at the tight end position. You also look at, of course, Cecil Shorts the third. We don't want to talk about Justin Blackman because I think right now he's a lost cause. But if he ever gets his head on his shoulders, you've got some weapons. You've got some offensive weapons, MJD and company. Look, this is a team. You get a quarterback. The offensive line is starting to play with some confidence. Who knows? This could be a team that flips on the switch rather quickly in Jacksonville. They're starting to play with some confidence. Defensively, this is not a bad football team. They've got a ways to go. But it's a lot of young guys. And when you got young guys, you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to have 95-yard breakdowns every once in a while when you got young guys on the field. But they're getting their job on the training right now. Okay? So, tell you what, this is a team that you got to look out for in the near future. And with wins like this on the road, I can't be anything but impressed with what I've seen out of the 3-9 Jacksonville Jaguars over the last month of this season. Browns dropped to 4-8 on the season, tough loss, and that essentially puts them to sleep in the AFC wildcard race as they lose at home to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's going to do it for me here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Thank you for joining me here in the Lab Room, week number 13, Showdown Sunday. I've got plenty more games to break down, so come back and join me as I continue to break down Showdown Sunday here in the National Football League.